Thanks very much, Chair. I want to refer to the two amendments. You've sort of heard a bit about them already in advance, but there's much in this resolution which we all support. But there are two issues that I do believe need to be amended and amended significantly. The first goes to how we approach the abolition of nuclear weapons. There are two different treaty regimes. There's one treaty regime that the nuclear powers are also in, and that's the one where I believe the future lies for us to be able to see the continued nuclear disarmament in this world. The treaty that the resolution initially refers to is the one where the number of nuclear powers that are in it is zero. Now, if you want to get nuclear disarmament, you need to work through the treaty regime where the people who are signatories to it have an involvement in nuclear weapons. Because if you've just got all the club of the people who have nothing to disarm themselves signing up, that isn't how you achieve the aim. But I wouldn't want in moving the amendment for anybody to see it as lessening the commitment to nuclear disarmament. So the words that have been put in there are clear, that Conference would affirm unequivocal commitment to our world free of nuclear weapons. But we simply would be acknowledging that the treaty pathway that internationally we should be engaging in is the one that involves the people who we're trying to get to change. The second amendment is one that goes to the war powers. Now, can I say at the outset on this, I understand why this is being moved. And I understand why a whole lot of branch members and local branches have got involved on this issue. Because people look at what happened under John Howard in the Iraq War then. And they look now at a very unstable international situation and think, what could we do to be able to avoid the same mistakes of the past? The process that Labor has had federally to date has been that the executive would make the decision, but then we would support there being parliamentary debate. But the decision would be made by the Cabinet. And can I tell you, they are no easy decisions. I'll never forget, in April of 2008, us all sitting around the Cabinet table, and one of the staff came in, handed a note to Kevin Rudd, and his face went ashen. He waited for the debate that was happening around the Cabinet table to finish, and then he said, I just need to let you know, and he named Jason Marks and said, we've just lost a soldier in Afghanistan. And you could feel the weight descend on the room, because at that moment we all knew it was on us. It was on us. So the gravity of these decisions is real. The reason why I don't believe at this point we should be having conference resolutions saying, well, it should be a parliamentary vote, while I understand exactly where the debate is coming from, and I know people will keep talking about the issue, is think through how at the moment that would work if we're in office. You can't presume bipartisan support. Even John Curtin didn't get bipartisan support from Menzies for getting the troops to be repositioned to defend Australia. And we had only a couple of weeks ago the Prime Minister of Australia, Malcolm Turnbull, say how good it was for the Liberal Party to be having battles about national security. So think through what happens if Labor decides that it is the right thing to do to send our troops into harm's way. A Liberal opposition decides, well, we'll only support it if you go harder, if you do more than what a Labor government has decided is appropriate. And then where do we have to go to find out what happens? To the Senate crossbench. Which Senate crossbenchers do you want to have in charge of whether or not Australian soldiers and military personnel are put in harm's way? So I understand where it's coming from, but I do not believe that Conference should be making a decision endorsing that sort of approach. So I'd simply urge everybody at Conference today to take the action on nuclear weapons that has the opportunity to deliver an outcome and to stay the course on where we've previously been, to stay there today on the concept that military decisions will be taken by the executive, but there must always be a fearless and frank and public debate, including in the Parliament, where people have to justify that. Because I can't at this stage see a parliamentary fix that would stop what John Howard did other than making sure it's Labor at the Cabinet table.